Welcome back to my channel, guys. So today I'll be talking about Premier League Match Week 20 preview and prediction. So before I do start my preview, I just want to tell you guys that hopefully for now we are not going to miss any games because there is no COVID-19 situation in any squads. I mean, there are some cases, but not major issues or stuff. So I'm glad that we are not going to miss any matches this week for now. As usual, we got some really good games coming up this match week. We got Tottenham versus Liverpool. It's a very important game. We got Chelsea versus Wolves. It is another very important game for Nuno and also for Lampard because both of them are not performing well recently. So I think both of them will be eager to get a win out of that game. So we got some really decent games coming up this match week. Newcastle versus Leeds United. I'm making this video before Newcastle take on Aston Villa, so I'm going to rely their form line before that game. So in the last 5 Premier League matches, they got 1 point only, and it was against Liverpool. But then after that game, I think they've been really bad against Arsenal. They lost 2-0, 1-0 against Sheffield United. It was a really bad performance. And then against Arsenal, they lost 3-0 in the Premier League game. So I do think this team is kind of disappointing recently, and they won't be fresh compared to Leeds United because they will have around 10 days off. Newcastle will only have like 3 to 4 days off. So I think Leeds United are going to be very fresh. But then Leeds United recent form line in the last 5 Premier League matches, they got 6 points. But then if you look at the last 3 games, they didn't score any goal and they lost all 3 games. So I think this is kind of a concern situation. But I think Newcastle is a perfect opportunity for them because Newcastle is also not performing well. So I think Leeds United will back themselves to win. I'm pretty sure Newcastle will try to park the bus, but I think it's going to be difficult because Leeds United will try to make a lot of chances. They were kind of really disappointing against Brighton because they didn't really make chances. So I do hope this team will be fresh up after 10 days off. So I am going to fancy themselves to win this game. I'm going to go with Leeds United 3, Newcastle 0. Crystal Palace versus West Ham is the first game I'm going to talk about. Crystal Palace, in the last 5 Premier League matches, they got 5 points. And the 5 points came against Leicester City, 1-1 draw, 2-0 win over Sheffield United, and a 0-0 draw against Arsenal. It was a very boring game, I remember. West Ham, on the other hand, they've been unbelievable recently. Their last 5 Premier League matches, they're unbeaten. They got 11 points, including 2-1 win over West Brom, 1-0 win over Burnley, 1-0 win over Everton, 0-0 draw, and a 2-2 draw against Brighton and Southampton. So I do believe West Ham are coming off this fixture with a lot of confidence because they were brilliant against West Brom. They were performing really well. They're creating a lot of chances. So I do think they're going to fancy themselves to win because Crystal Palace, they are not really reliable recently and they can come up with a surprising result. But I think it's going to be tough because West Ham this season, they've been performing well. Defensively, they're very organized. Even in terms of making chances, they do have some really good players. For example, Antonio, he has been in some fabulous form this season. So I do think West Ham will win this game. I think Crystal Palace will try to make it difficult, but I think West Ham will win it with a scoreline of 2-0. Southampton versus Arsenal. I think this is going to be an interesting game. Southampton did one against Arsenal in the FA Cup a few days ago. They won 1-0. So I do think that was a decent performance from Southampton. And on the other hand, for Arsenal, I'm pretty sure they will be eager to bounce back because their performance against Southampton in the FA Cup was not a good one. So I'm sure Arsenal will be eager to bounce back. I think it's going to be a close game. I think both of the team will have some fair enough chances. But I think at the end of the day, we will see who holds on better. But it's going to be a close one, and I'm going to go for Arsenal 1, Southampton 1. West Brom versus Manchester City. This is going to be an interesting game. West Bromwich did drew against Manchester City early in the season, so I think they are hoping that they can do something like that again. But I think it's going to be difficult because Manchester City in the last 9 games, they won all of the games. So I think this is some scary form line. West Brom will try to park the bus, and Big Sam is doing a decent job recently in their last 2 games. I'm kind of impressed like how they're showing the fight and everything. But I think against Manchester City, it's going to be tough. And there won't be Kevin De Bruyne for 4 to 6 weeks for Manchester City, but I still think that they have a lot of quality players there. So therefore, I'm going to go for Manchester City 3, West Bromwich 0. Burnley versus Aston Villa. Burnley are coming off a big win against Liverpool because they finally ended Liverpool win streaks in Anfield, or I should say unbeaten streaks in Anfield. It was a decent performance from them. They were very organized. I know the chances were limited, but still, they did take their chances and they got the reward. On the other hand, for Aston Villa, I'm gonna talk about their form line before the Newcastle game because I'm making the video before that game. So to be honest, I was actually surprised with their match fitness against Manchester City. They were pretty decent, but as I said, Manchester City is a really decent team this season. They can create a lot of chances, and this what happened. And I'm actually happy with Aston Villa defense because they did perform really well. So for this game, I do think the first team, whoever scores, is going to be very important because both of these teams defensively has been performing well. Burnley, in terms of record, I would say if you compare with Villa, it's nowhere near them. But to be honest, Burnley do have some really tall defenders and everything, so that will really benefit them when they are trying to park the bus. On the other hand, for Villa, they are one of the best defending team this season. So therefore, I think it's going to be a very interesting game, and the first goal scorer is going to be very important. And from a prediction, I think it's going to be a close one. But I was actually going to go for a draw, but then at the end, I decided to go for Villa. Aston Villa 2, Burnley 1. It was a close call. Like, for real, I actually did wrote down Villa and Burnley 1-1, but then I feel like Aston Villa will just win this game. It's going to be really tough, but I think Villa got this. Brighton versus Fulham, I think this is going to be a very important game, and both of these teams will be eager to get a win out of this game because whoever wins this game, I think they will be in a comfortable position. Brighton, for now, they are 5 points ahead of Fulham and ahead of the relegation zone. So I do think Brighton will be eager to get a win out of this game. On the other hand, for Fulham, they've been performing well recently. They got 3 points in the last 5 games in Premier League. But then, if you look at the fixture, I think 3 points in the last 5 games is not that bad. For Brighton, they got 5 points in the last 5 games. So from a prediction, I think it is really tough. And I really don't want any of these teams to lose. But I think Brighton do have a better attack. They have some decent players. And I think Brighton might just win this game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring one. Both of the team will make a lot of chances. But as I said, Brighton do have a better attack compared to Fulham. So I'm going to go with Brighton 3, Fulham 2. It is a high-scoring game, but I think Brighton might just win this game. Everton versus Leicester City is the next game I'm going to talk about. This is going to be a very interesting game. Everton recently, I don't know, should I say they are performing well or they're performing bad, but their last 5 Premier League matches, they got 9 points, including a win over Wolves, Sheffield United, and Arsenal. On the other hand, for Leicester City, I think they've been performing really well. 11 points in last 5 games, including a win over Chelsea, a win over Southampton, Newcastle, and a draw against Crystal Palace and Manchester United. So I can tell you Leicester City has been performing really well, and I think this team is becoming more reliable compared to earlier part of the season where they can screw up some of the easier game. So I think this is going to be an interesting game. Both of the team will make a lot of chances. But as we all know that Everton do have a problem. Like sometimes in a game they do switch off and they will fall asleep or something like that. Like they will have a really quiet period. So I'm just kind of worried about that. On the other hand, for Leicester City, they are very energetic. They like to make chances. So that's why I'm gonna go for Leicester City because of the attacking style. I'm gonna go for Leicester City 1, Everton 0.